Well, all right. Good morning, B.
Good
You
morning.
like that music?
Huh?
You like that music? Guess what the name of it is?
What? Starting soon?
Feeding the ducks. Y'all, I had trouble getting in for some reason. It's just like, y'all see how calm I am with it? I'm like, okay, give me time to feed the ducks. No, let me stop playing with this music. But I like it. I like feeding the ducks.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, B.
How you doing this morning? I was worried for a second. I was like, man, she might actually be getting some sleep.
No. What sleep?
What sleep? What sleep?
I was
But good morning.
Good morning. No, I was up late. Pushed myself. It's interesting. I used some words that I told someone yesterday to help me get up today. I hope he's listening. I need to text him. All right, Brandon, go with it.
What words were those?
Wake up and take responsibility.
So
Matter of fact, that's what I said. I said this. I said I'm telling blank to wake up and take responsibility because I wanted to hug that bed a bit longer this morning, y'all. I pulled a night out last night, so it's okay though. I'll catch up tonight. So let's see who's in with us, and then if you could send me the
I got
Instagram
you.
if you have not already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So Kayla, good morning.
Words you pronounce wrong 2 years before your brain starts shutting down. Dementia is now known as type 3 diabetes, according to the Mayo Clinic.
Oh, my phone is listening to me.
Shocking discovery that changes everything.
I don't know. I guess it's thought I asked it a question. So good morning, Kayla. It was great to chat. Kayla and I chatted it up yesterday, Brandon, a little bit. Latasha says, good morning, Tammy and Brandon.
Good morning.
Kayla says, I'm going to send my resume when I get into the office. All right. No worries. No worries there. KL is in the house. He says, hey, y'all, good morning. Big Mike says, me and Mrs. Davis walking and listening to you this morning. Well, all right.
There we go. Bright and early. Y'all doing the thing.
Yeah.
Congratulate, man. I love that seeing people link up, seeing you and Kayla link up. Miss Brenda and Uncle and my Uncle Mike linking up, man. This is beautiful, y'all. Let's keep it going and keep it growing. Thank y'all for checking in with us. Mom, I sent you that stream key. But before we get started, everybody, in the comments, let us know about your yesterday. Let us know, did you incorporate some of the things that we talked about yesterday? What'd you do with your fish? Did you throw them back in your opportunities? Did you throw them back in the water? Or did you get a bigger frying pan? So a lot of times when we come back here, we don't review what we went over yesterday, but that might be something that we can start doing, is reviewing exactly what we went over yesterday and then jumping into it. So are we good to go on the IG?
We are good to go. It should be at you right now.
Cool. Thank
And
you
your
so
question, I just sent it over. I actually got to use some of this yesterday with the person that helped me get up this morning. So the small frying pan, the big fish, the one that got away, it started to all make sense and tie up when I was having this conversation with this person. And so I'm thankful for it. And just eager to, I don't know, keep growing and moving forward.
That's awesome.
So I am going to invite this person. So Brandon, if you want to go ahead and get us
Sure.
in,
Sure.
I'm going to invite this person to wake up this morning.
Well, wake up. Welcome everyone to In This Season podcast with your host, the beautiful butterfly, my mother on that side right there. If you can see me pointing that way. And then of course myself. This is our 182nd day, I believe. Consecutive day of the In the Season podcast. where we have been reading through the book Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. So again, if you haven't gotten that book, this is what it looks like. Daily Motivations for Success, for African American Success, where every single day there's a different passage, there's a different quote from a distinguished African American, and there's a different affirmation or inspiration at the bottom of that page. So what we do is we read through it. It gives us that type of daily inspiration, daily motivation. We break it down, tell you what we think about it, what insights we have after reading it and after hearing it. And then we go to the comments and go back and forth a little bit and see, whether we agree, we disagree, and what different things we can pull out of this to help us with our day. So it is a day-to-day thing. A little bit about this book, Daily Motivation for African American Success, will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. And 365 short but powerful motivations. You got one for each day of the year. Dennis Kimbro leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. And there's a lot of those, right? But we always look outside in order to find solutions, or many people do. But the smart among us, right, the wise among us, look inward for answers to life's challenges. So each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches will last you a lifetime. So every day there's a lifetime lesson. Y'all remember Lifetime series that used to come on Channel 29 here in Memphis? My mom used to watch that all the time, and I used to really not like it. I thought it was like I thought it was the mother's channel, right? But it had some good lessons in it, right? So this is a little bit more interesting to me. We get to read this book, see it through the lens of the African American story and history. We originally started this as an acknowledgement and celebration of Black History Month in February, and we just couldn't stop it at 28 days. So here we are now at 182 days. So thank y'all for joining us. Please use a second or a minute or two to like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and if you would be so kind, share this video, share this live link with someone that you think needs to wake up right now and today. So that's all I have for the introduction. And Mom, if you have anything else to add before we jump into the passage?
I don't. I'm all good. I don't.
All right. So today is July 31st. Last day of July, y'all. Last day of July. And our quote comes from Jackie Moms Mabley, who's a comedian, who said, "Honey, 80% of the people could care less about your problems, and the other 20% are glad that you have them." So what does that tell you, y'all? She said, "Honey, 80% of the people could care less about your problems, and the other 20 are glad that you have them." So, look, Mama, marking that down with her funky hairpin.
Not funky. Hey, this is a blessing.
Okay,
Not
favorite
funky.
hairpin.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into this passage. All right. There are times in everyone's life when plans go awry, when anticipated profits fail to materialize, when illness or accident breaks into the normal flow of daily activity. At such a time, we all need something to fall back on, inner resources that strengthen our resolve. A psychiatrist listened one day to a patient recount in great dramatic detail the tragedies of her life. After a short period, the woman paused, fully expecting her doctor to become involved in her troubles, to brilliantly analyze her plight, and to solve her problems. Instead, he looked at her and simply said, "So what? So what?" The question caught the woman completely off guard. She reviewed all that she had shared. "Yes," she finally admitted. "So what?" With this one question, her attitude shifted and her altitude lifted. So what? So what is a question that can help us enjoy life. We can use it to feel lighter, less attached to the burdens of life, to free ourselves from the ups and downs of others. There's nothing wrong. We know that life at times can be indifferent. So if things go awry, if your dreams don't pan out, if you can't get that break that would have put you over the top, you can start this very moment to create for yourself circumstances that you truly desire. And in the future, if things fail to work out, put your problems in perspective. Sit down, lean back, and say, "So what?" And the affirmation that we read 3 times, one time for me, one time for you, and one time for the person that you shared this video with, that you're going to send this to. Our affirmation says, "I will
I
put my
will put my
problems in
problems in
perspective
perspective
and move
and
on."
move on. Hmm.
Time number 2, I will put my problems in
In
perspective
perspective
and
and
move
move
on.
on.
And last time, because I know it's somebody in the back or somebody waking up this morning, getting the crust out of their eye and the wax out of their ears, they need to hear it again. I will put my problems in perspective and
And
move
move
on.
on.
Over to you, Mom. What you think about this? So what?
Whew.
Mom, we can go. Listen, we can go back to, I bet you, 100 out of this 182 days. And I say, over to you, Mom. What do you think? You go, "Ooh." You give a good sigh of relief before all that insight and wisdom come out of you. One more time. Ooh.
Some of them, y'all. I'm
I
telling
said
you,
about at least
the
100.
conversation. I didn't say so what. I'm telling you, this is crazy, and I hope he's listening. I hope he's listening. Um, do you feel like no? I won't go there because it'll get too long. So I'll just go back. So what? Right? It reminds me. I'll take it here. I can talk about Trent because he talks about this all the time. Trent went through a tragedy, right? Worldly, right? Trent had a stroke, lost his sight. They told him all these things that he would
Mm,
not be able to do. I remember getting a call from Trent, and he talks about this, and he'll say that, I was like, so, okay. I didn't say, so what? I think my words were, okay, now what?
okay,
Okay,
okay.
now what's next? And
Right.
in doing that, he said one, he first thought I was crazy, probably like this girl here. We weren't face to face, we were over the phone. And he says that it helped him to get back into the game of doing what he was doing prior to and what he loved to do. So it reminds me of that. And it wasn't it sounds like maybe you're not being thoughtful, but what you're doing is not allowing the person to sit in their situations and or circumstances. You're reminding them. It's like when I say, you tell me your story, tell me your story, and I'll tell you someone who has the same story. Let's just go there, that has the same story. Um, but they chose to look at it and deal with it in a different way. So people we have a tendency to hold on to the things that can bring us attention because we want and need to be validated. We want people to feel sorry for us. Now, let's just keep it real. We want people to feel sorry for us. It just is what it is. We want to feel like people care. Maybe that's a better way to say it. We want to feel like people do hear us and they do care for us. and they are concerned about what I went through or what I'm going through. But people who really love you want you to get your shit together. Say, so what? And
Amen.
get this. It says, honey, 80% of the people could care less about your problems. And the other 20, y'all remember the 80-20 rule. The other 20% are glad that you're having them. Why? Because misery loves company. And if you got problems that appear to be bigger than mine, then guess what? I can get through my stuff. It's a play on the mind. It's playing on your mind yourself, right? So you want people in your life to be like, okay, okay, so what now? What are you gonna do? Because if you're gonna stay here, bye-bye. Come call me when you're ready to wake up and take responsibility for where you are now and also where you want to go, because that's more what it's about. It's not where you are. It's if you have a goal and a plan for that goal and you're ready to do what I did this morning and last night. I didn't go to bed till about 1:15, 1:20. Well, that's when I went to go to bed. By the time I touched and felt everything like I do, I believe it was like 1:30 before I laid down. So of course, this morning when the alarm goes off, I don't want to get up. Thank God for the conversation yesterday, because I'm like, how can I tell this young man to wake up and take responsibility and do what needs to be done so that he can get where he wants to go? And I don't. And I called his name. How can I tell blank to do this and this? And I threw the covers back and I woke up because I know I had things to finish that I started last night. So all the time, there's a couple of things here, inner resources. And Brandon, I'm gonna turn it back over to you, and then I'm gonna talk about the inner resources. And note here, these inner resources are not, they don't mention money here. Inner resources that strengthen our resolve. What is the inner resources? What are your inner resources? What's your resolve? And it's not money, because you'll have people that have money to fix their situations, but their internal world and their mental state of mind worsens, doesn't get better, because you've not conditioned yourself to grow through life, to grow through what you go through. And no matter what, you guys, our good always outweighs our bad. And it made me think about when it says put your problems into perspective. And we're going to review that quickly as well. But putting your problems into perspective means first counting your blessings, not your problems. Counting your blessings and not your problems. So Brandon, over to you, and then I'll finish up afterwards.
Sounds good. Thank you for those insights. I think I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off of a few points that you made. One of the first ones, I'll go in reverse order. Counting your blessings and not your problems, right? So what, right? So what? So what is a question, right? So when someone asks that, I want you to say, when they say so what, you say, so at the end of the day, I'm blessed. Your response is, I'm blessed, right? They say, so what? So this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. And they say, so what? If somebody says that to you, I want your response to be, I am blessed, right? Start at a positive step of gratitude. When gratitude is your attitude, it changes your altitude, right? Like I said in here, your altitude can be increased just from one of these positive traits, one of these characteristics of resolve that you have. Because at the end of the day, they're your problems, right? And they were given to you for a reason. You are responsible for your circumstances, no matter how many times and how easy it is to blame someone else. Your problems, your circumstances, your issues, and your position that you are in right now is a pride, especially if you're an adult. If you're a child, that's a little different. But as an adult, is because of you. In some way, shape, form, or fashion, you chose the route that you are on. You chose the path that you are on, internally and externally. Right? My mother said that we want people to validate um, our situation, our circumstances, how we feel. Right? There's a saying that a very wise man gave me. He said, "People don't care what you know until they know
How
that you
much?
care or how much you care." Right? People don't care that you know, don't care what you know until they know that you care. Right? And sometimes the best love is tough love. Right? There are a lot, there's people that are, I'll never forget this. It was Mayor AC Warden, mayor of Memphis, when it was 2012. I had just moved back to Memphis, and he and I were having lunch at the little tea shop with a beautiful Palestinian woman named Suhair, who had, I think, the oldest restaurant that was, had been open in Memphis, had stayed open consistently. And I told him in 2012, in my in kind of my brash ambition, that I thought that I could do a better job at being mayor than he did, than he was doing currently. And I didn't mean any disrespect, right? I just, he, asked how, I thought he was doing coming, because I told him, I came back to Memphis and things looked different than when I originally left in 2006. And I came back, and you had the housing market crash that happened in between that time. So there was a lot of vacant and abandoned property. And I said, I could do a better job. That was just based on what I could see. I really didn't know, right? And he laughed, sat back in his chair. And he was like, I need to meet with people like you a little bit more often. He's like, I can't believe you said that. He kind of chuckled and laughed, right? And at first, I think it actually kind of offended him. But then he kind of thought, like, this kid's like 22 years old, right? And so that stood out to him, right? Because when you have yes people around, sometimes it doesn't seem like they care. It seems like maybe they're just doing this. They're just saying yes to stroke your ego or to get something out of you. But when someone really cares, right, they're gonna shoot it straight. And I care about this city. I love Memphis. I really do. It's my home. It's where I was born. It's where I've had the majority of my life experiences, right? So when I saw that the city was, to use the book's words, awry, things had gone awry in the city, and I saw that he was the head of it, and I know it doesn't all lean on one person, but I was like, yo, something's wrong, and I think things could be done in a better way. And that's what I was there to try to figure out. There wasn't, that was my so what, you're mayor, so what? You have this, so what? Right? You've done this well, so what? So sometimes it can be on both sides. Don't pick it up or put it down, as Maya Angelou says. So if somebody's saying, I did this and I did this and I did this and I did this, right? Like as these positive things, like my coach Brian Hall says, he's my so what guy. So what?
There you go.
What now?
I
I'm
like that, Brandon, because I don't mean to interrupt you, but I
no
am.
problem.
Sorry about that. I like how when you talk about, okay, somebody's telling you all that they're going through. I kind of feel the same way when people are boasting themselves up. Like when I did this, I did this, I did this. At the same time, we're looking for some validation even there.
Right.
And sometimes people will say all these things that they're doing, and it'll hinder them. If you get caught up with boasting them, it could possibly hinder them from continuing to do greater things,
Right.
right? So it's that's why I say it's a play on the mind, and you have to me, like the book I sent you guys, be water, be free, do what you do and move on. Don't pick it up, don't put it down, because as soon as you start picking things up and think, hey, other than God and your relationship with God, if you start, I could get a little cocky with it about all these things,
Oh
right?
yeah.
That
Very-
I could get a little cocky, but I remember the source, and that the message behind these things is, to me, I see you, I hear you, I'm with you. You knocked, I answered. You are seeking, I am there. keep doing it. It keeps me in front of God, right? I mean, keeps me behind God with God in front of me. Keeps me following God, right? Meaning in front of him, praying, right? So that I can get up and follow him, because he knows the will for my life. And so when you start, just like if you start putting yourself down and telling me all your woes, don't start telling me all your goods, because if you're doing them, I see it. I see you. And if you see yourself, most times you don't have to brag about yourself.
Right.
If you truly see yourself, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I know sometimes we sit and we shoot the stuff, shoot the talk, right? With about life. There are times for that. But sometimes we sit in things too much, good and bad. Right? So back over to you, Brandon. I didn't want to forget that.
No, no problem, baby. I appreciate it. It was deserving of a pause and a reflection. But also moving on to the fact that, as our affirmation for the day says, I will put my problems into perspective and move on, right? But also put your successes in perspective. We're talking about a balanced life, a balanced approach here. What is going to keep you taking steps forward toward your success? What's going to help with your journey towards success? Whether it be with a social justice issue. So we just had 901 with Palestine join. And we have my boy AD, One Slim Reaper, another fighter on my team join. Even our successes. Let's say, we push the needle on some social issue that we have, or some injustice and that we're remedying, right? If we stop and celebrate for too long, we give opportunity for the enemy, or those that want us disconnected, that want that can profit off of our disunity and our polarization. We give them opportunity to take hold, right? Likewise, if we celebrate too much or get too down on some of our failures, we're missing the current moment. We're missing the opportunity at hand. And I'm not saying don't be grateful, right? I'm not saying don't be happy. I'm not saying not to have joy, right? And confidence. But don't let it hinder you, because both can be a test, a trial, and a distraction for you. Your problems can be a distraction for you. You can suffer from success, and it can be a distraction for you. While I'm sitting there telling you about all of my problems, I'm not solving them. Right? And let me tell you this, devils love to hear your problems. Devils love to hear your problems. I'm not saying don't express them in the proper channels. I'm not saying not to deal with them. But there's a point of diminishing returns. And what do I mean by that? I mean, have your person or your people that are close to you, that you trust, that you know are going to tell you straight. And if you need that advice, then go seek that clear, that concise, and that good advice. And once you get it, go with it. Once you get some type of guidance, whether from God or from somebody that you know and trust and respect, then go with it. Reflect about it, and of course make your decision and go with it. Don't go around telling that same story to another person, and then the next person you get on the phone with, you tell them that same story and that same story. You are speaking your problems.
Yes.
You're giving power to your problems. Right? There was a story I shared with you guys maybe a month or two ago, and I'll start to wrap up with this one. And one other, about there's an old middle, I think it's a African or Middle Eastern legend or story or whatever that people would share, where a man was on his camel, and then somehow he fell off. He fell off the camel. And he goes, oh no, I think it might be a hadith. Yeah, it was a hadith, excuse me. And man falls off. And when he fell off, he said, oh, the devil made me do it. One of the devils must have pushed me off my camel. You know what I'm saying? And what happened? If there was a devil, let's say it did happen. Let's say it's a real devil out there floating around, just push you out like, I don't like this human being. I know I'm not supposed to be out here, in the physical realm, but I'm doing a sin myself as a and pushing you off, right? And so let's say this devil pushes this man off of his camel. And when he falls down, he says, it must have been the devil that pushed me off. Or when people, let's think about us. When we go through our situations, when we go through problems, we be like, the devil is a lie, right? Even in saying that, we have given power to the devil, to Satan's, right? Because, and the prophet, peace be upon him, said, don't say that. When you fall or some ill befalls you, say subhanallah or glory be to God, right? Say glory be to God. Because when you give that devil power, it gets bigger.
I like that.
They laugh at you. They laugh at our despair. They laugh at our miscommunications. They laugh at our when we're suffering, when we lose hope, right? That's the biggest thing that they can do, is to make you hopeless, to make you hopeless in your disposition about God, and hopeless in your disposition on your own ability to achieve success in this life, right? That's the ultimate goal for them. So when you say the devil made me do it, or that's just the devil in them, or that's just this, you are literally feeding energy into that entity, and they are laughing and getting bigger. But now imagine this. Let's just say that was a devil that knocked you off, right? That was the devil that tripped you up, right? Right. Now get this. They only have the power to suggest. Any other power beyond that, whether it be possession, whether it be anything, whether it be whatever powers that you see that are manifested around you from the things of the unseen, the power that they have and influence over us is only the influence that we give them in one way or another, or opening ourselves up to those things. They only have the power to suggest. A greater enemy to us than them is our inner selves, right? So imagine once you fall off, and let's say that devil pushed you down, right? And you get down, you say subhanallah, or you say hallelujah, or you say glory be to God, whatever way that you say it, right? Do you think that devil's going to push you down again? He doesn't want you glorifying God. He doesn't want you seeing the silver lining in the situation. He doesn't want to see you accepting the fact that you might be tested. You might get a test after you're blessed, right? So that devil becomes smaller, right? So what? You fell off. Get back up. Get on your camel and go to your destination. Now imagine if you fell off of that camel and then you stop, and as everybody else is passing by on their camels, you like, I fell off my camel. The devil knocked me off my camel, as they keep walking by, and they're like, oh, for real? Okay. 80% of the people don't care about your problems, and the other 20% are glad you have them. So what are you running around telling people for? Huh? What is that doing to solve it? All that is doing, that's catharsis. And I'm not saying being cathartic isn't good. That means it feels good just to say it. But don't let your tongue run away from you. Because if you're speaking too much about what happened to you, that's a form of depression. That's a form of depression, because you're mentally stuck in the past. When you're stuck in the past, that's depression. Now, if you're anxious about the future, I got this coming up and I'm so nervous and I'm this, you are accepting the fact. You're saying I'm nervous. You could say, no, I'm excited. There's a difference in the power that we give. And so when you're thinking too much about the future, that's anxiety. Too much in the past, depression. Too much in the future, anxiety. All you have is the present moment. What can you do with this present moment to fix your problems, or to better your situation, or to take another step on your journey to your destination of success? That's the question that we need to ask. And our answer after someone says, so what, should be, I'm blessed. Because let me tell you this, and I'll end with this. There is somebody better than you. There's somebody more righteous than you. There's somebody more grateful than you that is in a worse situation. Not the same situation, a worse situation. Somebody talking bad about you, they have said worse about better men or better women. I promise you. I promise you. And you can be egotistical, say, well, no, I'm the best man. No, they said worse about Mary, right? About Isa ibn Maryam, or Jesus, son of Mary. They said more things about her, worse things about her than are being said about you. right? They said worse things about Jesus, Isa ibn Maryam, than they're saying about you. You see what I'm saying? They said
Mhm.
things about Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. They said things about all incredible. I mean, Mother Teresa. They said incredibly bad things. They called Nelson Mandela a terrorist. America, at one point, thought and deemed that Nelson Mandela was listed. They deemed him as a terrorist, right? Only to hold him in high acclaim just a couple years later. So see, we can't have that subjective morality where morality changes based on our preferences and based on our position toward the towards some benefit or some detriment, right? We don't have subjective morality, right? When you're principled. So don't pick it up and don't set it down, because what people think of you ain't really a reflection of you. And if you seek validation through other people, then what they say will trigger you. Their viewpoints on you will change who and how you are and how you respond to the challenges of life. So be resilient. Keep your problems to yourself or to those trusted among you. Your circle should be so small, it should look like a period. I'll repeat that again. Your circle should be so small that it looks like a period. I prefer 4 quarters than 100 pennies, because 100 pennies ain't worth that much individually. But 4 quarters, if I can seek advice from 4 quarters, I still got my dollar, baby. And I ain't got to deal with these other 99 jokers, because 80% of those 100 don't care. And the other 20 are happy that I'm having the issues. All right. So I want to end on that there's someone better than you going through more than you, and they're still grateful. So if you count your blessing, you make a decision. I'm going to count all my blessings. I'm going to count every blessing that I can think of. And then when I get done counting my blessings, then I'll count my hardships. And I promise you, you will run out of time and you will run out of patience before you run out of blessings that you're counting. Every blink, every thought, every smell is a blessing. The fact that you have that sensibility, right? Every breath that you take, the fact that you're sitting in an air-conditioned place right now, while there's millions of people, hundreds of millions of people in this world that don't have air conditioning, don't have food in the refrigerator right now, and you are living in abundance, and you think you have the right to complain?
Sleeping under the bridge. Let's
Sleeping,
just own a cardboard piece of cardboard box,
and you think you
and
have,
you will. Yes, you think you have, and you will pass these people and not even whisper a prayer,
but
not
but will
even say, "Good God." You know
but
what I'm
will
saying?
her mama in that same breath and complain about having to stop and get gas on the way,
Or stuck in traffic.
or stuck in traffic, but you got a car. You got people that don't even want to let pedestrians walk on the crosswalk because they're trying to get to where they're going, and they're sitting in a car. I can wait. I can press the
But
brake.
when they're the walker,
Yeah, but
you
when
better
they,
stop.
so that's subjective morality due to your position, whether you're driving or walking, right? If you're the pedestrian, you think everybody should stop for you. If you're the driver, you think everyone should stop for you. But the world doesn't revolve around just you. Okay? So put your problems into perspective and move on. Put your problems into perspective, because really, these first world problems that we got ain't problems at all. And there's going to be a day of reckoning for you. You know, God will, I promise you, y'all, God will do one of a few things that from the scriptures that I read. God will either, if he loves you, and I think he does, I think he loves everyone, right? But there's a certain point to where, I'll get to that. When God loves you, he challenges you, right? He puts you in positions that challenge you to where you think you think you depend on people. God will put you in a position, even an atheist, he'll put you in a position where he is the only one that you can call. The only one. Even an atheist says, oh my God. Listen to him. I know some atheists.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened, some calamity happens right there in front of them. They say, oh my God. Like, I thought you was an
Don't
atheist.
even realize what they're saying.
They don't even realize it. There's a natural inclination to the fact that you didn't create yourself, right? There's a natural inclination and an instinct internally that says, oh God, please help me. So God will put you in that position. If you ignore that position and you don't give that sovereignty back to God, again and again and again, God can actually harden your heart and allow you to go on in your misguidance because you're willfully choosing it, right? Some of you are willfully choosing the despair in your life
Mm.
because you get validation from talking to people
Mm. Come
about it.
on now.
You're willfully choosing the bad route. You're willfully self-sabotaging yourself because it's a cry for help,
Yes.
right? Well, I'm telling you is to take responsibility for yourself. And like it says on the back of this book, look inward for the answers to life's challenges. Your existential crisis, you think this is an existential crisis? No, it's an internal crisis, right? Because
Woo.
there's someone that's better than you that has looked at that same situation or worse and said, glory be to God. Like I showed y'all that woman in Gaza that had lost her fourth son. Her son was praying. Her son had his head on the ground praying, and they were bombed. And she said, subhanallah, glory be to God. That's the fourth son that has been martyred. I believe they are with God right now. And maybe I will be with them one day. Whereas we lose a goldfish, we lose a dog. And I'm not saying not to love your pets, right? But we have to take off work. You see what I'm saying? We have first world problems, guys. Put these problems into perspective. And when you go through a calamity, say all praise be to God. Say thank you, God, for the fact that I came in this situation. Because if God brought you to it, God will bring you through it. And I'm not trying to get on here and preach, but guys, we have to know where our power source is. We talk about resources, right? I'm talking about the source. The source. You go back to God to re-up, if y'all understand that terminology. You go back to God to re-up. Okay? So I'm going to end it there, guys. Let's put this into perspective, your problems into perspective. And again, 80% of the people could care less about your problems, and the other 20% are glad that you have them. So keep your mouth shut and your feet moving. So what?
So, Brandon, I'll pick up real quick. I'll pick up where you just left off about the 80% of the people could care less about your problems, and the other 20 are glad that you have them. So, how many people do you have left? You only have yourself, right? I'm also reminded about a book, the Road Less Traveled and Beyond. I think is the one that has this scenario in it. Also, it's a situation where they're talking about someone coming into therapy, and the therapist will allow them to start talking about their life. They may ask some questions, and the person comes in and appears to have this perfect life. And then as time goes on, they start to reveal the things that, because, and imagine, it's kind of like the guy who kept complaining about the peanut butter sandwich. And
Yeah.
when the friend asked, he was like, why don't you just tell your wife you don't want peanut butter every day? Leave my wife out of this. My wife out of this. I make my own sandwiches. He,
Twist
just like you say, you'll have atheists that say the word God and don't even realize they say it, right? He's protecting the ego. How, what makes you think my wife would keep making me sandwiches that I don't want, right? Not even hearing how much he sounds like a fool to complain about sandwiches that he's making. So, how many people are left after the 80 and the 20? Don't try to determine who's the 80 and who's the 20. Because in this situation, none of them works. And if they're part of the 80 today, they could be part of the 20 tomorrow. Depending on their situation is how they're going to respond to you, right? So, let's really quickly look at a few things here. I may not get through all of them, you guys, so you may have to go back out and do it yourself. Keeping things in perspective. How do we do that? Just a few. Turn the situations around. Remind yourself of what's going well. Count your blessings, right? So remind yourself of what is going well in your life. Consider the best and the worst that could happen. See every situation as a learning opportunity. Keep calm. Think rationally. Focus on the bigger picture and your longer term goals. And it could be so many more things, right? Depending on the situation. But these are things that you should just have ready because, like we say, life's going to pop on us, you guys. Tires are going to go flat. So why not make sure that you have a spare? And some of us will have a spare in the car with no air in it. And now the devil done push you off the camel twice, right? And it made the tire go flat. Now the spare don't have air, but it wasn't because you didn't put air in the spare, right? So imagine, right? And we talked a little bit about boasting. It's not in our directly in the passage that we're going through today, but I wanted to share a few little things with you on that. Pride for boasting is deeply embedded in our sin nature, which is why boasting is one of the sins so strongly demonstrated by children. By children. So we are adults. We should no longer be childlike, right? So this is, you will see this in children that we are trying to mold and grow. Satan tempted Eve with the boast, you will be like God. Remember Brandon talking the other day about in slavery, the slaves wanted to be like the master. They didn't want to really get out. Getting out wasn't really their goal. It was how can I get up and be closer to the master?
Some of them, right? Yeah.
Some of them, some of them. Yeah, and everything, some.
Tradition. Yeah.
Right. That is what pride and boasting are all about. Our self enthronement in the place of God, our self enthronement, right? Um, it talks about the resolve. Well, hmm, let's go to the, do I want to do this one? The resolve. As a noun, resolve refers to a strong determination to do something. And in this passage, it says, inner resources that strengthen our resolve. So, what is the resolve, right? What is it? What is that inner strength? How do you get it? It's the qualities, your strength, character. It is character, your capabilities, not what others think it is, what you think they are. What are your key character strengths? What are your qualities? What's your capabilities? Right? And then what are your non-productive character qualities? Have you ever thought about what are my non-productive character qualities? Because those are the things you want to build, get rid of, or make them better. Like the things that you're not strengthened in. So think about this, you guys. These are things that we don't make applicable to life. We don't make it applicable to life. So it's your determination to do something, your resolve, right? So think about these things. I'm going to put some additional things that you can read because, as we say, what we come and say do here every day, you have to spend more time contemplating on them. Don't think this is enough. You need to be in the kitchen. Hey, can I take a plate home? And when you go to a barbecue and you have some good food, you want to take take a plate home. And you don't just take it home. You gonna eat it if it's good. Now, some people will still take the plate home when they didn't even like the food. They're trying to appease people. But when you take some good food, when you have a good barbecue, so this deserves time from you, additional time from you. So contemplate, reflect upon these messages today. So Brandon, you guys, I'm gonna put it out. I'll do it on YouTube and I'll also do it on Facebook. Brandon, if you want me to send you some things, you can put it out on your Instagram. Otherwise, if you're there, just go to YouTube if you don't have access to Facebook. So Brandon, I'm going to stop there just because it's getting a little long for us. Thank you guys. I do have some comments that we did not get to. So let's try to do that. Nelda Brown says, have a great day, y'all. Latasha says, my therapy repeated what you both are saying. She says, to God be the glory. Kayla says, love, love, love y'all. Have an amazing day. Yes, we do, you guys. We love you guys as well. I posted it's an internal crisis. Brandon dropped some nuggets on us today, you guys. KL says, say that subjective morality. That was another one that Brandon dropped. If you are anxious for the future, is you are in anxiety. You have anxiety. Being mentally stuck in the past is depression. That was another one by Brandon. Y'all remember, say this today. Glory be to God.
Mm-hmm.
When life pops on you, glory be to God. Our beautiful, Brandon's beautiful wife, or my daughter in love, or the daughter in love. Very good point. So what? To everyone who boasts about themselves, social media has become a platform for people to project their issues and successes. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I just want to make sure I didn't miss any. I'm going to go over what I've said. Nelda Brown says, some people absolutely do not want to discuss their issues. So if they do, it's a big deal. Big Al Sal says, say it loud, sister, that's real talk. Thank you for chiming in, Big Al Sal. Gloria, sister-in-law, says, good morning, y'all. Alvin says, good morning. And I think Auntie Richetta says, good morning, butterfly and family. Love y'all. Good gracious, y'all. We are going this morning, Shasta. More family. We have a lot of family in, you guys. Shasta Jackson Cuz says, good morning, fam. Good morning to you, fam. So that's all we have there. Thank you, guys. Brandon, I'll turn it over to you so that we can close out.
Good. And I will end with this. When city council has a resolution or Congress, it ends with this. They start with the whereases. Whereas this. So whereas people are telling us their problems, whereas we have issues, be it resolved. When we say glory be to God, be it resolved that we be grateful. Be it resolved. Mom said that to have that resolve, right? What is resolve? It's the quality and concentration of your consciousness again, and and its resilience against the headwinds from society, from people, from anyone and everything else. It's your resilience, the resilience of your consciousness, of your decision, and the quality of it to where nothing moves it. So be it resolved, guys, that when calamity strikes us, be it resolved that we say glory be to God. And be it resolved that when people are complaining to us or trying to offload emotional poison, we say, so what? So what now? Out of love. Out of love. All right? So say that to ourselves first, and let's put our problems in perspective. So as we end today, let's go over this, what we learned. We said that the title was So What? And our quote came from Jackie Moms Mabley, the comedian, who said, honey, 80% of the people could care less about your problems, and the other 20 are glad you have them. And after a brief passage, we came down to the inspiration and affirmation that says, I will put my problems in perspective and move on. And I'll also add, I will put my successes in perspective
Mm.
and move on. Right? Keep moving. Don't pick it up and don't put it down. Don't revel too much in the past, or don't ride too much in the past, and don't revel too much in the successes. Right? Let's count all these things in the end. People will give you your flowers along the way, but that's not what we're in it for, y'all. We're not in it for the flowers. We're in it for the faith. We're in it for the power of God. We're in it for the pleasure of God. Right? Do things just for the pleasure of God. Keep some secrets with God if you can. Do some things in charity and good, in righteousness that no one knows about. So much so to where your left hand doesn't know what the right has given in charity. Right? Just to please God. Just let God smile, and let that be an intimate deed that you did just between you and God that no one else knows about.
Amen.
No one else knows about. And watch how it changes your life. Watch how it purifies your heart. Right? Watch how it strengthens your eyesight and pinpoints your vision on your success. All right? So I'll leave you guys with that. Whatever good you've done, all praise be to God. So what? What next? As my kids say, what next, Daddy? What's next? What's next? You know,
Yeah,
all
man.
your problems that you're sharing and all things, after we get them out, get them out. But next, so what? All right. So put your problems in perspective. Go out there, move on, and be blessed, y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow podcast. Oh, we good?
Yep.
We'll see y'all tomorrow on In This Season podcast. Go to the YouTube, like it, subscribe it. Please subscribe, share it, and turn on those notifications so you get this every single morning when we go live at 7 a.m. Get your motivation before you head into work. We love y'all very much. And thank you for everybody that came in. We had a lot of people in on the IG live. We had a lot of people on the Facebook live and a lot of people on the YouTube channel. So thank you for those comments, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good day. Peace.